In 2002, writer Greg Rucka embarked on his first official outing with the character of Wonder Woman, preceding what would become a 3-year run on her main series. Rucka sought to tell a simplistic yet authentic modern-day Greek tragedy. Wonder Woman, the Hiketeia, follows Princess Diana of Themyscira as she accepts an ancient ritual called Hiketeia that binds her to protect a young girl who is on the run from Batman. Hiketeia is a ritual plea in which an individual embraces the needs of another in the solicitation of protection in exchange for their pledge of service. We see this played out in ancient Greece, where a downtrodden man seeks supplication from one of his attackers. Diana explains that the rules that rituals are defined by must be obeyed. To deny Hiketeia is seen as sacrilege for these cultures. From there, he is bound to complete responsibility for that man. But to break Hiketeia, recanting one's promise of protection is to be met with the most savage of punishments. Those punishments are delivered by the Ameryhs, 3 Greek goddesses of vengeance, whose sole purpose is to punish those who commit crimes against the natural order. Immediately, we are introduced to Danielle Wellies, or Dani, in Gotham. After grappling with and eventually murdering a man, she flees only to be stopped and chased by Batman. Few words are spoken, letting artist J.G. Jones methodically show us the chase with his detailed and expressive art. Dani performs Hiketeia on Diana's doorstep, seeking protection for reasons that will remain unknown to Diana for the majority of the story. She accepts and treats Dani with her hospitality, noticing the Ameryhs looming in the shadows on the street across from them. Diana confronts the trio, claiming responsibility for the young girl. The Furies remain in the background throughout the story, waiting for Diana to falter in her duties once she is supplicated. They tell her that Hiketeia is never about the supplicant, princess once goddess, but always about the supplicated. They are aware of Batman's unrelenting pursuit of the girl, biding their time for their inevitable battle that will result in Diana's failure, allowing them to claim both her and Danielle. In my research for this story, I came to one conclusion in particular. So many people walk away from this book with the wrong takeaway. Don't get me wrong, far be it from me to tell someone what to enjoy from a comic book. But too many people remember this as the story where Wonder Woman fought Batman. Yes, they fight. They actually fight twice, but very briefly. I don't dislike his involvement in the book either. I actually think he serves as a great ideological opponent for Diana when she finds herself in this situation. The two of them are classically unyielding when it comes to their beliefs. From Bruce's black and white perspective, Danielle is a murderer. His views are informed by his own tragic past, compelling him to seek justice from those who have committed a wrong. But from Diana's perspective, she's responsible for this young woman who came to her doorstep in need. Her culture instilled an emphasis on both loyalty and compassion. She may be compelled to accept the plea through honor, but I believe it's Diana's compassion that leads her to accept it. And it's her loyalty that binds her to Dani. Bruce's incessant pursuit of justice clashes with Diana's unending loyalty, and it rules. But what I really care about, what I see so few people mentioning, is Diana's relationship to Dani. Diana is presented in a particularly unique way in this story. Over the 80 years since her debut, she has been depicted as the warrior, the diplomat, the goddess, the superhero, and in this story, the person. All of Diana's powers are intact. Her status as a hero is as well secured as ever. But in Wonder Woman the Hiketeia, this might be the most vulnerable I've ever seen the character. Her identity is known to the public, and she is forbidden from returning home. She lives by herself in the embassy. She is not surrounded by her family, by her sisters. Diana is lonely. When Dani comes to her doorstep, it's not only Diana's inherent loyalty or beliefs that lead her to accept her plea. It's a sisterhood. It's love. One of Wonder Woman's powers is love. She goes out there with an open hand. She doesn't go into the world with a closed fist. Batman goes into the world with a closed fist. Batman's solution to most problems is, how hard can I hit it, and where? Diana's solution to most problems is to say, I want to understand. Come with me. For me to find truth, I have to understand. For me to understand you is to know you. How do I not know you and then not be able to love you? Over the 3 weeks from the beginning to the end of the story, we see Diana accompanied by Dani on her daily adventures. She comes with her to the United Nations. She's there when Diana is saving the day. They are inseparable. Dani becomes interwoven in Diana's life quickly. She doesn't even bother to ask why she needed Diana's help. In the story, Diana states that it doesn't matter, but I think that she's avoiding the idea that Dani has done something seriously wrong. From Diana's first encounter with Batman, she learns that Dani has killed multiple men in Gotham City. After Diana expels Batman from the window, Dani begs her to ask why she killed the men. Why she sought out Hiketeia with Diana. Why? I had a sister. That's why. Dani goes on to explain how her baby sister Melody had gone to Gotham with dreams of being a star, but she had been scammed by people that had flown her out. Melody had been physically and psychologically abused, forcing her to take lewd photos, taking advantage of her on film, and selling her body for gain. They hooked Melody on drugs, making her complacent until she was murdered by one of her clients. The cops in Gotham sought no justice, only mocking her corpse. Motivated by the Ameryhs and her desire to be like Wonder Woman, Danielle sought out her own justice, killing the men one by one. All Melody ever wanted was to be a star. All I ever wanted was to be like you. While she may have brought justice to the men that killed her sister, Dani is plagued with guilt. The loss and coercion from the Ameryhs led her down the darkest path, one they could punish her for. Diana herself isn't even sure if she would or would not have sought out the same justice if either of her sisters had suffered the same fate. Dani felt it was her responsibility to protect her sister, in the same way that Diana feels responsible to protect her. From the morning after they met, Diana believed, if anyone has a problem with you, then they have one with me. Your problems are now mine. Despite Diana's reassurance, Dani is overcome by her guilt, fleeing from the embassy. The Ameryhs wake Diana, taunting her that their time to claim both her and Danielle is near. Batman has already located Danielle, chasing her down to a facility surrounded by rocky waters. Diana stops him from arresting her. Neither of them relents from their mission, forcing Diana to press her boot on his head. After a failed attempt to seek supplication from Diana, they both realize that the Ameryhs are surrounding Danielle. Having seen there is no way out, she leaps from the facility to her death on the rocky surfaces below. Diana lunges after her, but is unable to catch her. Diana holds her body in her arms, and the cackling of the Ameryhs echoes through the night. Before she passes, she releases Diana from their Hiketeia. In spite of all of Wonder Woman's efforts to protect her, Danielle still answers for her crimes. Diana saves people every day. But when Dani leapt to her death, she did it to save Diana. To be like Diana. Throughout the story, when Diana reflects on Themyscira, she cites how complicated man's world is. And it is. Man's world is corrupted in ways that Themyscira could never be. Diana chose to be here to help save us from ourselves. But like anybody else, sometimes it just becomes too much. Sometimes you have to accept that you can't save everyone. Sometimes you just want to go home. It was never this cold on Themyscira.